Oh, that story looks good. Let me click that link. What? Locked? Pay site? Why do they link stories that I can't see? I'm not paying for that.
All of your online news at your fingertips is free on quincyjournal.com. Quincy Journal also has a mobile site that fits your smartphone perfectly. And have you taken a peek at QJ-TV, QND Lady Raiders, Quincy High Blue Devils, QND Raiders games and more, live on QJ-TV. For the latest in politics, community news, and more, free every day, it's quincyjournal.com.
With no other business before the meeting, clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. Alderman Gale, Mand. Here. Disterhouse.
Here.
Bauer.
Here.
Holbrook.
Here.
Havermill.
Here.
Barha.
Here.
Sassen.
Here.
Rhine. Lepper. Here. Mussolino.
Here.
Brink.
Here.
Heineke. Here. Coastline.
Here.
13 present, 1 absent. Your Honor,
Yes, Alderwoman.
I move to excuse the absent alderman.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move the minutes of the previous meeting be approved as printed.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
First petitions by the Quincy Symphony Orchestra Association requesting permission to conduct a raffle and have the bond requirement waived from February 9th through April the 12th. Clerk recommends approval of the permit.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
By the YWCA Quincy requesting permission to hold the 33rd annual Kelly's St. Patrick's Day 5K Run Walk on March 16th beginning at 9:30 a.m. starting at Kelly's parking lot going south on 30th to Main, west of Main to 16th, back east on Main to 30th, north to Kelly's parking lot.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman.
I move the prayer petition be granted properly notified. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
By Kelly's Tavern, 2902 Broadway is requesting section 18.0393. Sorry.
There you go.
Of the municipal code be waived to allow alcoholic beverages to be sold at an outside tent on the west parking lot on March 16th and 17th for 33rd annual Kelly's St. Patrick's Day 5K Run Walk and for the Kelly's annual polka run sponsored by the local ABATE organization on May 17th and 18th.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman Holbrook.
I move the prayer petition be granted and the proper authorities notified. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
By the Quincy Senior High School requesting permission to hold their Dream Big in Color 5K run on April 26th starting at 8 a.m. beginning west on Main to 20th, south through 20th to Aldo, east to 23rd, and north to Main, where they will loop back to Quincy Senior High School with final ending time, including cleanup, will be noon with streets being available by 10:30 a.m. 5 designated spots throughout the route of biodegradable powder will be tossed on individuals as they run past. Central Service has been notified and is in approval of the run and the powder toss along with 4th Ward Alderman Sassen, and they are in the audience. Just,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move that proper petition be granted and proper authorities notified. Second.
Before we vote, is it in here, Alderman Sassen, that you're running this?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they were putting powder on you or. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It's for the runners.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thanks for being here tonight. Yes.
I have the monthly report of the city clerk, the city treasurer, the city comptroller, and the Quincy Transit Line for January, and the Quincy Police Department for December.
Move those reports be received and filed.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
We also have public forum tonight, and we have a speaker.
Okay, we do have one speaker. Mr. Kirkhoff, I'll remind you when you get to the podium if you could state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Jeff Kirkhoff, 1221 Spruce. Thank you for your time, with a special thanks to those that made the public forum a reality. 226 years ago, in January of 1788, 370 delegates in Massachusetts debated the proposed Constitution to replace the Articles of Confederation. Going into the ratification convention on January 9th, anti-Federalists believed that they had a majority of 40 delegates opposed to the Federalists and their new proposed Constitution. As the debates began, many delegates expressed concern that the elections to the House of Representatives would only be every 2 years rather than annually. quote, "Where annual elections end, tyranny begins," unquote. They felt annual representative elections were critical to, quote, "popular liberty," unquote. Article 1, Section 8, regarding the 18 powers of Congress, were discussed for a full week. Finally, at the beginning of February of 1788, President of the Massachusetts Convention, John Hancock, and fellow Anti-Federalist Samuel Adams helped negotiate what would be known as the Massachusetts Compromise. The Anti-Federalists would agree to support ratification of the proposed Constitution with suggested amendments. The Massachusetts Federalists agreed to support the proposed amendments, namely a Bill of Rights. The Massachusetts Compromise worked, with a final vote in favor of ratification 187 to 168. From the ratification document on February 6, 1788, quote, "And as it is the opinion of this convention that certain amendments and alterations in the said Constitution would remove the fears and quiet the apprehensions of many of the good people of this Commonwealth, and more effectively guard against an undue administration of the federal government, the convention do therefore recommend that the following alterations and provisions be introduced into said Constitution. First, that it be explicitly declared that all powers not expressly delegated by the aforesaid Constitution are reserved to the several states to be by them exercised," unquote. This amendment would eventually be modified into what became the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. The convention also suggested 8 other amendments. This type of compromise was used in 4 other states to assist in obtaining the required 9 states to ratify our Constitution. The last page of your package, in contrast to the 10 amendments or the Bill of Rights, is a list of 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. After comparing these 10 planks to our 10 amendments, an argument could reasonably be made that the 10 planks may soon be followed more closely than the 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights, especially the 9th and 10th amendments, which are often ignored. Certainly, it is a subject deserving of more study. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Kirkhoff.
Okay, thank you.
We have a notice of a hearing by Illinois Commerce Commission on its own motion versus Atmos Energy Corporation on reconciliation of revenues collected under gas adjustment charges with actual costs prudently incurred in the office of the Commission on February 11th at 10 a.m.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move that we refer to legal for study.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered.
Our first resolution is for the City of Quincy into a SFOO-R program agreement in the maximum amount of $168,000 received from the Illinois Housing Department Authority in order to make grants for the city's rehabilitation program, which will lend funds for the rehabilitation of approximately 5 single-family owner-occupied residents.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
move for adoption of the resolution.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Alderwoman Heineke.
Is Chuck in charge of the?
Sure.
Go ahead, Chuck, come up, please. I have a couple questions for the public. How are these houses sought out or found?
The city partners with the Area Agency on Aging, and the Senior Center works with the seniors that come to their programs. The ones that have owner-occupied homes that are in the most need are chosen, their homes are chosen to be addressed. The typical type of rehab that occurs on these homes usually are the code violation issues, plumbing, electrical, building, any accessibility issues that may be necessary to allow them to stay longer in their home, as well as any energy efficient issues to make the home more comfortable and energy efficient.
So if I have residents of the ward that I think probably and they're elderly that could qualify for this, how do they go about seeing if they're eligible?
They should
What's
work with
first
the
step?
Senior Center.
Senior Center.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do. We partner with the Senior Center on this because your question's right on the mark. I don't know who the most neediest are. The Senior Center works with the Senior Center community, and and there's a screening process that you can be on that committee as well, that reviews applications and makes decisions.
Who's in charge of this program?
The planning department's in charge of the program.
If they would go to the senior center, what would they ask for?
I would suggest that they ask for Lynn Nieweiner and ask for the senior center's owner-occupied housing rehab program. Again, you have to own the home first to qualify. So if you rent a home, that's not going to work. It's got to be an owner-occupied home, and that's what qualifies the program.
Do we have any additional questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand.
Aye.
Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heinecke.
Aye.
Oslog.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
Our next resolution is Chief of Police, Police Automatic Committee, and the Interim Purchasing Director recommending approval of the purchase of a touch print TM 5500 live scan fingerprint machine from Morpho Trust USA of Bloomington, Minnesota in the amount of $23,534.
Your Honor,
Yes, Alderman.
I move to adopt the resolution. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman Havermill.
You sounded a little trepidation there.
I didn't know who said it.
Hey, Chief.
Yes, sir.
In your memo to us explaining this purchase, you mentioned the possibility of going back. I know years ago you provided fingerprint services for other
That's
outside
correct.
entities. Is that the plan with this, or no?
It is. We used to do it for free. We quit doing that. It became time consuming. That was back when we had an officer filling that position back in the evidence. Now the mayor had asked that we look into this, and it kind of coincided with the fact that we were having problems with the current machine. We found out that the current machine cannot be used for what are called fee applicant prints, which are for permits such as concealed carry, things like that regarding the state, because it has to be able to send the photograph along with the prints, and the current one cannot. And that, combined with the current state of the machine, which is very poor, is why we'd like to get the new one, and we would like for the council to approve us to go ahead and do the fingerprints for a fee. We would charge $50 is my proposal. Some of that would go to the state. For instance, on the concealed carry, we would only make about $18.50 on each print.
I know they do it like on the perk cards and
Right.
licensing and stuff like that. So, okay. Okay, that answers that. I think that's a good thing if you're going to do that, to get a little bit of return on it. So, thanks, Chief.
Any additional questions?
Yeah, just real quick, is there anybody else in town doing that service now?
Right now, the Board of Education is the only other entity I'm aware of that is doing that, and they're charging $50.
Thank you.
Okay, Regional Superintendent, thank you.
Okay, hearing no further questions, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand. Aye. Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook. Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heinecke.
Aye.
Oslog.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
Next resolution is Director of Utilities and Engineering and Interim Director of Purchasing recommending approval of the estimated quote from the Preano Energy Incorporated, West Plains, Missouri, a sole source provider, in the amount of $4,997 for services to a gas flare at the Quincy Municipal Landfill Number 4.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move to adopt the resolution. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Are there any questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand.
Aye.
Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heinecke.
Aye.
Oslog.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
Our last resolution is Director of Utilities and Engineering, Director of Human Resources and Utilities Committee recommending approval of the proposal submitted by Zurich in the amount of $165,295 for renewal of an insurance policy for the water treatment plant and facility.
Your Honor,
Yes, Alderman.
I move for adoption of the resolution.
Second. We have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. Are there any questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Alderman Deuschhaus.
Jeffrey, I see that
Yes,
there was a lowest bid out of those received, but
Yes,
it wasn't acceptable. It didn't meet specification.
It did not. The lowest proposal was from Affiliated FM in the amount of $118,000, but it would not extend flood coverage to any of our facilities.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Alderman Brink.
Yes, Your Honor. Jeff, if you can explain the cost increase from the previous year, and then how do you expect that cost to go forward?
Absolutely. Last year, again, Affiliated FM was our carrier for insurance on the infrastructure of the water wastewater plant. The cost was about $118,000. They offered the same quote, but taking out the flood coverage for the facilities. The increase, so you're looking at an increase of about $40,000 for the flood coverage that we got from Zurich. Right now, we are in the process of lifting a lot of the equipment down the wastewater plant out of the flood zone. So we would expect next year our premium would decrease in proportion to the amount of risk that we're eliminating. I'm not sure it'll go back all the way down to $118,000, but it should go down substantially.
Alderman Havermill.
Jeff, so basically, just to put it in terms I understand a little better, if the project was completed, we would anticipate those premiums being down somewhat.
Absolutely.
And this is just loss experience is driving the increase in. Okay.
Exactly.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand.
Aye.
Dusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heineke.
Aye.
Hoslag.
Aye.
13 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
I have an ordinance up for a second presentation, and that's a variation at 1810 Chestnut.
Your Honor,
Yes, Alderman.
I would like to dispense with 2207 and adopt the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand.
No.
Dusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heineke.
No.
Hoslag.
Aye.
11 ayes, 2 noes, and 1 absent.
The ordinance is adopted.
The finance report. Finance is transfers to be $111,000, expenditures to be $317,667.93, and payroll to be $115,368.80. Firehouse, Sassen, Dusterhouse, Hoslag, Havermill Committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move the report be received and filed and the vouchers issued for the various amounts.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Mand.
Aye.
Dusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heineke.
Aye.
Hoslag.
Aye.
13 ayes and 1 absent.
So ordered.
And we have a request to speak by Travis Brown tonight.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move we suspend the rules.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Rules are suspended. And Mr. Brown, if you could state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Travis Brown, representing the historic Quincy Business District at 128 North 5th. Appreciate the time. I'll make this short. Was able to put a report on everybody's table tonight. Just wanted to give you a couple highlights from our year. We actually didn't have the banner year in number of businesses, but a lot of that is due to the fact that we still have a 93% occupancy rate. We were at about an 88%, and so a lot of those spaces that are now filled up were accounted for in previous years. So we had a lot of 2016, 20 businesses, but we did have our 5th consecutive year of growth in downtown Quincy. Like I said, a 93% occupancy rate, which we're very proud of. And if you look at the one-page summary, since 1994, we've actually got a public return on investment for every public dollar of $19 in private development. So we feel very, very proud of that, and look forward with that continuing, especially with a couple big projects that were announced at the end of last year with the Tracy family buying the old Holiday Inn and converting that to a Quality Inn and Suites. They're already under a massive renovation down there. And then with the Austins purchasing the Hallback-Schroeder building at the corner of 5th and Main, or the Carson Apartments, and they'll be renovating all of those, and they've already started as well. So a lot of positive things in economic development and our occupancy and such. We did have a couple big projects for us last year as an organization. One was our new website, shopdowntownquincy.com. It's an e-commerce site. It's a very unique site in that we are not the ones, while we have some items up for sale, we actually were the first in the country to create a collaborative e-commerce site so that our downtown businesses could get an online shopping presence for a fraction of the cost of what it would cost them to do it themselves. This actually, we won a Lieutenant Governor's Award last October for that, and actually had received a lot of national recognition from the International Downtown Association, the National Trust Main Street Center, and I had the opportunity to present a couple of sessions on that at the national conference for the Main Street group. So really proud of that project. The other one that I think is very, very important for our organization's long-term viability is we finally applied for our 501c3 application or organization. We are a nonprofit now, but we're a C6, very similar to a chamber. By establishing a concurrent foundation, it will actually allow us to be grant eligible. Donations to things like Blues in the District and all of that now become tax deductible, which should increase our finances long term, but really getting grant eligible is a primary thing for us. So those are some of the things we did. I put the whole reports there for you to review, but I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to resume sitting as City Council.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? We are now sitting as City Council. Any new business, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Alderwoman Mann, any new business?
No, sir.
Alderman Deustrauss?
No new business, Your Honor.
Alderman Bauer?
No.
Alderman Holbrook?
Yes, sir. Could we have Director of Central Services, Marty Stegman? Marty, could you kind of recap what's been going on the last couple of days with the ice, road conditions, why they are the way they are, and then what's the plan for tomorrow? Kind of let us know where you guys are at.
Well, as everyone's aware, we had a pretty good ice event through the early morning hours between 3 and 5 a.m. We got a quarter of an inch of ice on top of the snow. Ice is not something you can plow. It just is not going to plow up. Road travel on it compresses it even tighter and makes it virtually impossible to move. During a snow event, as in the past, as we always do, we do not treat during a snow event. We don't put salt down and then go back and plow it off. We did resume salting. We actually were running salt late last night, and then again today we ran salt, and we're plowing as well today on roads that were breaking up for us. So we're going to be ready in the morning. I held crews over tonight until 7 p.m. I'll have crews out as early as 7 a.m. in the morning, ready to get back at plowing back what we haven't got plowed back already, and then for the preparation-wise for the oncoming storm tomorrow.
Pat, you've answered this question many times. We have the event coming tomorrow, and you're going to be using a lot of salt obviously, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're having another event on Saturday and Sunday. Where are we at in salt, and what are we going to do?
We are, at this time, we're in what I would call a moderately critical stage with salt. With as much salt as we've gone through, I can tell you through January 24th, we went through over 2,000 tons of salt already. Compared to last year, just over 800 tons of salt. So we've more than doubled our normal salt use. We are looking at adding cinders into that. Cinders do not improve the activity of salt. All they do is expand how far we can go with our salt. I guess it would be like watering down your Diet Pepsi so that you drink a second glass instead of having only a 12-ounce glass. So at some point in the future, we'll be looking at adding a cinder, 50-50 mix of cinders and salt and spreading that. We are going to do primary roads only, meaning emergency, snow emergency routes. We're not going to be hitting neighborhoods with salt, and we need to conserve as much as we can. We certainly have a lot of winter left. We're at the first week of February, and with everything that's coming, you just never know where we're going to be. The salt is just not available at this point.
Well, that's one thing that I want, pointed out is that almost every community is dealing with this, with salt shortages, and obviously these winter storms have been pounding the United States for a few months, and everybody is dealing with the salt shortage.
We have been contacting vendors for the past 2 weeks. I had contact with vendors again today. The nearest place I can get any quantity, a considerable quantity of salt at this point is New Mexico, the state of New Mexico, at a delivery cost of $210 per ton, compared to the $53 per ton that we're paying today. The state has locked us down. We don't have any available. I've talked to several of the private market individuals, and they are not able to access it either. So we're where we're at, and hopefully we'll get through the year.
Any additional questions? Alderman Ryan.
Just one point of clarification for us. The mixing of cinders with the salt, cinders are darker in color. What can people expect will splash up on their cars?
It's going to be much more messy than what you're used to with salt.
Looking a lot dirtier.
It's going to look a lot dirtier. Cinders will not disintegrate. I've had a conversation with former director Kenny Cantrell, and we haven't used cinders since prior to 1992. The decision to go away from cinders at that time was based upon the mess that it leaves behind. I would not use cinders at this point if I didn't feel we had a situation with the coming storms that we need to conserve salt.
Alderman Brink.
Yes. You answered one of my questions. Maybe I don't know if Jeff Conti needs to answer the question. What does the cinders do to our wastewater treatment plant? Anything?
I can't answer specifically the wastewater treatment plant, but my assumption would be it wouldn't be pretty.
So assuming that
typically what we've done in the past after the cinders have been laid, I did check into this a little bit, and in the spring when we're through with this, we'll get out and have to clean the streets. So it'll create a lot more work for my street cleaning crews in an effort to keep it out of the drains as best possible. But obviously we're not going to keep it all out.
Just real quick question then. On Saturday, you said you don't put down salt or plow the streets during the event. I mean, what time was the event over, and why wasn't there any salt put down on the streets? And the question that I received numerous times in the last few days is, why are the state routes and the county roads and the parking lots all clear and the city streets are not?
I would have to argue that the parking lots aren't clear. I would agree that the state routes are. Broadway specifically sees 25,000 cars a day. The state uses a lot more salt. They have access to a lot more salt, and they ran it, and they put it down with chloride heavy. Single digits, the salt is not going to work on an untraveled road. It's just not going to be effective.
And Marty, the state also can use part-time help.
That is correct.
Which we do not have the ability to, based on our union contract. So they can call in extra manpower. We can't.
That is correct.
So how will that affect whether we put salt?
Well, no, I'm saying they have a lot more manpower and they have a lot more resources than we do.
They have a lot more trucks out on the road than we get out.
Thank you.
Marty, did anybody check with the EPA on putting these cinders down? I mean, we won't be in any violation or?
We did not check. They use cinders in other locations, so.
And explain what cinders are and where you're getting them.
Well, we're getting the cinders, I believe, from Illinois Veterans Home. They are produced out there, so they're a byproduct of burn. Coal, correct.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
Alderman Holbrook.
No, thank you, sir.
Alderman Havermill.
No, thank you.
I do have a few things. I want to thank all the educational leaders that joined with me today at John Wood Community College. We had representatives from the Quincy Public School District, Quincy Notre Dame, Blessing Riemann College of Nursing, John Wood, Batterot College, and I might be missing one, to participate in the citywide FAFSA challenge. I think it's good that we have students from Quincy High here today. Last year we only had 57% of our seniors in Quincy take out and file a FAFSA. These days it's very important to file your FAFSA very early. State funds get dried up pretty much by the 1st of March, and so we're raising awareness. Right now only 10% of our seniors in the city of Quincy have taken out and filed a FAFSA. John Wood is doing a College Goal Sunday this Sunday from 1 to 3 on their campus for students